Welcome, Solara here. I hope you guys are doing well today. I'm back. I just posted another reading, but I'm here to do the downloads. Welcome if you're returning. It's so good to see you again. Welcome if you're here for the first time. If you vibe with what you hear, I invite you to subscribe and even hit the notification bell if you want to know when I post. Thank you to all of you for being here. Thank you for all the ways you continually help me to grow in my light and in my value, so I'm able to do what it is I came here to do on the planet at this time. I appreciate you all. It's been wonderful meeting some of you guys through mentoring. It's been lovely providing services for many of you through reports and other things that I do. It's just been really a beautiful time to connect with the Divine Collective, and I'm very grateful to all of you. Thank you to those of you who have donated towards the channel, whether monetarily or with card decks. Thank you for your comments, your likes, your subscribes, your shares, your words of encouragement. Yes. I have a lot of gratitude and I need to express that. Okay, so let's get into this. Alrighty, I have quite a few downloads. Before I get into the meatier stuff, one message that was coming through is that many of them are shadow boxing right now. They're shadow boxing, or they're boxing with the divine, but they believe that their fight is still with you. So this is just a simple, message, a reiteration of maybe something that we already know, and that is that their battle at this point, even when they're throwing shit at you, they might think that they're still dealing with you, but for many of you, the divine has stepped in. The angels have stepped in. Your guides and protectors and avenging angels have stepped in, and so they're not even fighting you at this point, which is part of their judgment too. That lack of awareness and that coming up against energies that you'd be crazy to come up against. I mean, they were crazy to come up against you, but now to come up against you and your whole crew, that's just dumb. Anyway, today we're going to talk about these fixed cross energies that my guides have been wanting to take us into. So in the tarot, we have two cards that in the Major Arcana, we have two cards that are all about the ends of cycles and the beginning of new cycles. They would be the number 10 and the number 21 card of the deck, the Wheel of Fortune and the World. And when we get to the Wheel of Fortune on the Fool's Journey, or we get to the World card, it means the end of a cycle and the beginning of something new. Now, the Wheel of Fortune, those cycles come a little bit more regularly. They can come even on the daily. And when I say on the daily, I mean in more like minuscule forms. In other words, your fortune is very interconnected with your own energy and gratitude and all of that. And the more that you're flowing in that energy, the more opportunities the Wheel of Fortune has to bless you and expand you. So in that sense, the Wheel of Fortune is constantly flowing through our lives, through these energy cycles, whether they're short or they're longer, right? The longer cycles tend to have bigger rewards. That's why we tend to pay more attention to them. But the Wheel of Fortune is constantly at work in our realities. The World card is less about those smaller closing of cycles, and it's about grand wrap-ups of cycles. So the Wheel of Fortune, like I said, is constantly flowing through your reality. The World is like a definitive ending of something in order to move into something completely new. The Wheel of Fortune speaks of like energy cycles and patterns more, and the World card for me is like it's the end of a chunk of time. It's the end of an era. It's an end of an age, you could say. Whether that age is in your reality or we're dealing with it cosmologically. So I bring that up because those two cards are the only two cards in the Major Arcana that are connected to 4 different signs. And the Major Arcana in the tarot is all about the divine journey. It's about the major parts of your journey that are connected with your divine purpose. It's about your soul's journey. It's about your trip through all of the nodes, you could say, because the fool's journey kind of ends when you get to the sun. And what I mean by that is that the end of that cycle, it ends at the sun. That's why you age every time the sun returns into returns into your zodiac sign, returns to the place where it was when you were born, the degree and everything. That's your birthday every year. It's your solar return. So the fool's journey ends when you get to the sun. And when I say end, we know that an ending is always the gateway to the new beginning. But in the Major Arcana, the sun is a 19 card. And after the sun is when we have the energies of the the review. So then you move into judgment, and then you have the world. So the sun energy is also, it can be seen as being every 19 years, because if you were born and the North Node had literally just entered a sign, it's going to take 19 years again for the North Node to re-enter that sign. So again, it's another solar-based cycle. This is important because the whole matrix system was designed around these energies of sacrifice, and it was and it is a soul harvesting operation. And soul is another word for sun, hence the reason why we, in other languages, especially the Eurocentric Mediterranean language, I should say the Latin based, not the Eurocentric, the Latin rooted languages, are the word for sun is soul, right? The whole matrix is based upon constant soul exchanges. To get ahead meant that you had to sell out, sold themselves out. That was the point. In order to advance in the matrix, you had to hurt yourself, and to get even farther, you had to hurt others. And the whole point of that was to keep us separate from our divine truth, because for as long as we are hurting ourselves or hurting others, we're causing fragmenting within our souls. We're causing a lot of separation energies within self, and we cannot be one with the divine if we are not one with self. So everything, even what Jesus was talking about in the Bible that they took and they twisted and distorted, was about escaping the matrix through the cross. Jesus was badass. Jesus came to show us the way out. I know they took him and they put him on the cross and made it seem as if your salvation was supposed to go through him. That was another distraction tactic. Our salvation, or our escaping the matrix, is through our resurrecting those Christed energies within self, otherwise known as raising your kundalini, which can only really properly be done once you come back into the wholeness of self, once you recover the wholeness of your soul and your energy field. And Jesus came to show us how to do it. And that's why they hated him so much, because the establishment at the time, and who hated him the most? I'll tell you who hated him the most. It wasn't even Rome. He fucked off Rome, he definitely did, but it wasn't even the Romans who hated him the most. The ones who hated Jesus the most were the religious institutions who were harvesting the energy off of people by keeping them out a true relationship with God, by making them believe that they had to go through them and they had to do this and they had to do that. That was all distraction in order to gain access again to their divine truth, right? So Jesus came and said, that's not true. Jesus was schooled through like the Egyptian mystery schools, as was Mother Mary, as was Mary Magdalene. And as such, he learned about his energy field. And if you read the Bible with a new lens, especially the New Testament, you'll realize that all of Jesus's parables and lessons were about us recovering the full access of our own energy field, also known as your Taurus field, Taurus, your Taurus field, in order to reconnect with your divine truth, because it's in the recovery of your own energy field that you no longer have to sacrifice yourself or sacrifice others in order to live successfully within the context of the dimensional limitations of the matrix. I hope you're following me. So Jesus came to show us how it was done. So when Jesus was healing the sick and raising the dead and helping the blind to see, he was actually doing those things. He was doing it by having full connection to the divine, because he'd recovered the entirety of his energy field, which allowed him to travel through time and to work interdimensionally and to bring those interdimensional gifts as a conduit back onto the planet to do the things that on this earth realm seemed as if they were, oh my gosh, supernatural, and really they are a natural way of being in existence if you are a multidimensional being. Now, when we came through the veil of forgetfulness, we agreed. And this is why Earth is one of the hardest places to ascend, is because from what I've been, what I've learned, it's one of the few places where you have to, first of all, descend in order to ascend, but you also have to forget who you are. You can't come here knowing the things that are true about yourself. That is kind of the point of the journey. And at every turn, everything is designed to make you forget who you are. So the whole point of ascension, especially on this plane, is to recover the fullness of your Taurus energy. And so in the last reading, I was telling you, I was stating how that fixed cross energy is all about your wealth. It's about your divine wealth. It's about the activation and the acknowledgement of it in order for it to come forth. And then it's about the distribution. That's what the fixed cross energy is all about. And so in order to exit the matrix, we must go to the cross. And we also must become the cross. And what do I mean when I say that? Well, the cross, if you think about it, there are two ways to have a cross. You can have the X cross, or you can have the one that we know of, through religion. And we are the cross when we are in divine alignment. And what do I mean by that? I mean that when our Taurus energy field is working properly, when we've recovered our energy, and all the fragments of self that we've sacrificed and have been sacrificed in order to keep the matrix system alive, so they could take that energy and use it to gain their own sense of material wealth and false godhead over themselves and others. Once we recover back and we come into alignment with our divine truth and we recover our energy field, what we're doing is that we are reconnecting by way of our energy column, which in physicality is your spine, but it's where your 7 main chakras run, right? The ones that we all know pretty well are the 7 main ones that are from the crown to the root. That's your main energy column that runs through you, right? When you are in alignment and you have come back into union with self and therefore been able to recover your own energy and the integrity of your energy field, also known as your Taurus energy field or your aura, some people would call it an aura, you are now connecting vertically. You are vertically connecting, and that makes the first part, the vertical part of the cross. So now you are connected to your divine truth, and you are being a bridge, and you are linking it now into the earth, and you are in divine alignment vertically, right? So once, and that would be mainly the the Taurus and the Leo energy, because those energies are more concerned with self and your connection with the divine. The Scorpio and the Aquarian energy moves then into dealing with others in groups. And this is where we have the horizontal line of the cross. And this is where the Gemini energy also helps us. Gemini rules your hands. And the horizontal line of the cross is more concerned with now the distribution of that wealth. So vertical is your connection to God, the divine source, and how you pull that into your earthly reality. The horizontal is then how you go out into the world and you share that in order to increase your value, the value of others who your energy field intercepts with, and therefore the value of the planet. I hope I'm making sense. So this whole cross energy, going to the cross, you must go to the cross and sacrifice your matrix identity in order to become the cross. Remember I said to you guys in a reading not too long ago, when all of this religious stuff was coming up, the entity, the oaths, the vows, I said, you're becoming the institution. You are becoming the institution. I didn't get fully what I was saying, but they keep on bringing it back to that. We are becoming we always were the institution. You always were the church. But you do that by going to the cross to sacrifice the matrix version of you so that you can rise in the fullness and be the cross, be connected as above, so below, and go out in the world and to live that way and to give it, right? So as such, that Taurus energy, which in traditional astrology, and let me preface this, especially to those of you who are, trained in the area of astrology, I'm not. I don't pretend to be in any way, shape, or form fully knowledgeable about this stuff. My guides were very specific with me when I started learning. I started to go into learning classical, even horary astrology, I think I pronounced it right, I'm not sure, and esoteric astrology, and I kept on being pulled out, and they were very insistent on teaching me astrology through tarot. So I've learned about tarot, I've learned about astrology through tarot, hence the reason why I do tarot astrology reports. So I don't have the language of an astrologer. I still don't get things like, conjunctions and squares and sextiles and all that other stuff in the way that people break it down in, more classical forms of astrology. I've been trained astrologically directly by way of my guides and through the knowledge and the wisdom I already carried within myself that has been pretty much just activated. So as such, there's still much I don't know, and I definitely don't know how to articulate it fully in the same terms. So please bear with me if you're coming and you have more of a classical approach. Taurus energy in Western or tropical astrology is over the second house, and in that form of astrology they'll tell you that has to do with your money and your worth and all this other stuff. That's not what I've been shown. I've been shown that in terms of astrology is here to show us our soul's journey. It's not here to teach us how to look at what's happening outside of ourselves to figure out what to do within, if that makes sense. And so as such, the way I've been taught is that the first 6 signs of the zodiac deal with self and our relationship to God, and how that is then, or our relationship to the divine, or our relationship to the source, and how much that is either actualized or minimized through our primary developmental experiences. Okay, so for example, your first house, Aries energy, is connected to the crown, right? So it's all about your divine identity. This is your I am that I am. Now, for as long as you don't know that I am or that you are, then other people are telling you who you are. So when you come into the world, in other words, you have a divine identity and you have been entrusted with people who are supposed to help you live that divine truth. So we have it very backwards when it comes to how we interact with children on this realm. We, as adults, call children into being. We ask them to come to us, you know, on a spiritual and a soul level. We are calling them in because we need help in some way, shape, or form on the earth. Children are some of the most divine teachers in existence. And in fact, this is also the reason why in the Bible, Jesus says, if you want to enter the kingdom of heaven, you must go back to being as a child. Okay, because when children enter the earth plane, they have not yet been programmed out of their I am truth. So as such, a lot of the time, if we're wise as adults, we won't do that to them, because by them being able to fully express their I am identity, it actually helps to put us back in touch with that. But we're very arrogant here on earth, and we think we're here to tell children what to do and all this other stuff. And yeah, we're here to teach them physically how to live and all this other stuff, but they're actually our spiritual teachers. This is why they come. It's like we summon them a lot of the time on our journey. So I say that because your divine identity is your I am that I am energy. So if you are, I don't know, a prophet, and that's what you came here to do, you have every skill to be that. That's what you came here in this incarnation. This is what crowns you. This is what you came here to do. So that's your Aries energy. Your second house, which is ruled over by Taurus, and it's no mistake that it's Taurus is in the sign, and then your Taurus energy field, spelled differently, but no mistake at the same time. Your Taurus energy, or the second house, which is over your throat, is all about the value that you have come into the world already with. So you have everything. You know how we say you have everything that you need, right, to do what you came here to do. Yeah, because you were divinely appointed with everything you would need to thrive. Not survive, to thrive. And that comes by way of your Taurus energy. Now, when I say you come with everything you need, you come with more than what you need, because you come with the things that you've been divinely blessed with in order to fulfill your purpose, but you also come with all of the wealth of the knowledge and the experience from every incarnation before that resides within your Taurus energy field also. So your Taurus energy is your wealth. Your energy is your wealth. Not for nothing, the Taurus energy is connected to the fifth chakra, right? So the fifth chakra is very much connected with the fifth dimension. So by the time you enter into the fifth dimension, your true currency and ability to move through it properly is connected to the recovery of your Taurus energy field, which is why I say a lot of the time these people think that they can hitch a ride into the 5D or into the new earth, but you can't, because it's an energy thing. Either you have the frequency or not, and the only way to have the frequency is to go to the cross and become the cross, become vertically aligned with the divine, and then go out there into the world and do what you were crowned, not contracted, crowned to do. So the Taurus energy is your value. It's everything that you need plus more in order to thrive. And this is what your energy field is, the Taurus energy field, which is made up of your mental energy, your emotional energy, your physical body and health and immune system, as well as your etheric truth. That's all part of your Taurus energy field. Now, if you are a being who's coming into the earth and you know nothing about the fact that you're an energetic being and that you have all of this, then of course you're not going to know how to use it. And you succumb to the programs of the Matrix, which is ultimately designed to program you out of having access to your Taurus field, so they could then do that and hijack everything from you. So the whole point of this ascension, in order to get back through the fifth dimension, get to the new earth, because some of y'all will be going higher than 5D, that's the truth. Or some of y'all will be going all over the place and maintaining your reality in 5D. You know, it's going to be in accordance with who you are and what it is you've been crowned to do. The whole point is to recover your Taurus field, because that is your golden ticket forward. And so therefore, those people who have been energy harvesting, many of them don't have the ability to go forward into the 5D in this lifetime, because they don't have the capacity to recover the fullness of their Taurus field, because they've spent so many lifetimes taking from others. The Taurus energy is over the entirety of your energy field. And it's also expressed in the earth plane kind of as your protection. It is your energy, but it's also your protection. The way they were showing it to me, I wrote these notes like 2 days ago. So let me see if I'm still connecting. Because I was seeing these lasers coming out from the energy field, like protection. Like it's almost like you get to a certain point where when you've recovered the fullness of your Taurus energy field, you become impenetrable to energies that would seek to come in and reprogram you. It becomes an impossibility at a certain point. Your Taurus energy, as I spoke about in that last video, is your throat and your neck. And your neck, of course, like I said, is also to some extent connected to your ability to connect all the way out into your etheric energy field. It's kind of where that is, where all of the Akashics and all that information is beamed in through that energy also, because out of your throat comes your truth. Your throat energy is also the seat of your truth. So if you want to think about this as, you know, like being the royalty that you are, your Aries energy is your crown and your Taurus energy is your throne. It's when you get your crown, then you sit on your throne. And the Taurus energy is connected to, the throne is your personal truth. The Taurus energy is connected to your personal wealth. So it's your energy field. It is that vertical part of the cross. It's what the divine has given you and you've accumulated over lifetimes and incarnations of ascension. That is your Taurus, your personal wealth. It's for you, okay? Then we have the Leo energy, which is the central sun of your energy field. Okay, so this is your seat of power. It is what keeps your energy field alive and vibrant. It is the bringer, the giver, and it is the sustainer of life. It literally is your Taurus field is kind of like, you can see it as being the world. And the sun is the center of your solar system. If we had no sun, we wouldn't be alive, right? It's the same thing with your energy field. Your solar plexus is your solar center that powers the entirety of your Taurus energy field. So when you think about it this way, your solar plexus, the more empowered it is and the brighter it shines, the stronger your Taurus energy field is and the more impenetrable it is. And this is exactly why from the time you entered into the matrix, you've been programmed out of your childhood innocence. And not only were you programmed out of your childhood innocence, but you were put through systemic and institutional ritualized abuse. Let's call it what it is. Anytime you try to pull someone out of the truth of who they are, it is a form of abuse. For some people, they've experienced it really terribly through horrendous acts of physical violence, emotional and mental abuse that is, you know, torturous to a human soul. But others have experienced it to a lesser degree, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't do the same thing. It's just to what degree does it fuck you up? Is really what it comes down to, because at every turn, the whole point is to put your light out, put your sun out, but not put it out completely, because they need you alive. They need you to be their slaves. This is an enslavement program. They need you to do the work that they want to do in order to be able to stay on this planet and run it the way they were running it. They needed a battery, and you were the battery. You gave up your Taurus energy field, and you gave up access to your solar plexus, and you allowed these other energies to program you and to use your energy field to create a reality that was dismal and bleak, right? Okay, so the whole matrix system was designed upon wounding children. It's all wounded child energy. So sending children to schooling systems where they're not respected, making it out to seem that in a family system that parents are the ones who are supposed to control the destiny of their children and the behavior. Everything's about controlling in order at an early age to create deficits and issues with ability to tune into the truth of who they are, because there are very few parents, myself included, I didn't know this when I became a parent, there are very few parents who, when a child enters into their reality, they realize that child is a gift from God, but it's the gift that they need in order to ascend. It's the gift that their soul has called in. They called in that child to assist them, and therefore that child is a teacher. And you know, student teacher, the role goes back and forth. If you're a teacher, you must also be a student. It goes back and forth. So the whole point of parenting in childhood is your child is here. Our children are here to teach us really important soul lessons, and you're here to help them learn how to live with the physical energies of the matrix. But we've lost all of that because we thought we knew something more than children. So again, that again wounds a child, because imagine being a child who comes into the world who is an ancient being and has more wisdom than you, and then you're trying to tell that child at every turn what to do, and they know in their soul it doesn't feel right, but you don't let that child speak or articulate why they feel that way. Well, you're shutting them down. And so here we're beginning the cycle, even if it's not, you know, malicious. We're beginning a cycle of shutting shutting the light down, right? Turning the light down, and then those messages become, you know, like a tape recorder in their life, because the whole world has been programmed and conditioned to think of children a certain way and to treat children a certain way. And meanwhile, the whole purpose of that is to dim their light at an early age, so that then when they become adults, they're already programmed out of their light, and they can be exploited all the more through work and karmic relationships to further give away their power and their light. So everything is about, you know, the energy harvesting. So that would be the Leo energy of the cross. So the Taurus and the Leo energy are all about your divine connection. You're as above, so below. You're connecting with source energy, or you're connecting with your cosmological truth. And so the Taurus energy, again, is your personal wealth. The Leo energy is kind of the vault for that, and how you're able to project that through your heart, because your heart is actually what electromagnetically forms your Taurus energy field. And whatever energy you're giving out is what is coming back to you. The Taurus energy kind of looks like this big ass donut where there's constantly an influx, like a waterfall coming in through your central column and going out again, and coming in from the bottom and going out through the top. But then it's also going down through the top. It goes both ways. You should Google it and look it up if you have a deeper interest, or you're not, or you don't know what I'm talking about. But the whole point of the heart, your heart, which is also connected to Leo energy, has an electromagnetic field that shoots out, projects the truth of your energy as defined by what it is that's coming through your vertical energy column, which is your chakra system, right? Which is also the reason why they liked to mess with our chakras. But again, they wouldn't have access to our chakras if our Taurus energy field was working the way it was supposed to. Now, I'm going to go a little bit deeper for a second, then I'm going to come back out. Every single thing in existence that has life has a Taurus energy field. So you have a Taurus energy field of your overall mental energies, emotional energies, physical, etheric energies, but all the way down to every cell that makes you up also has its own Taurus energy field. Now, the Taurus energy field of every cell is going to be in accordance with the Taurus energy field of your overall energy. And when you really begin to think about that, then you can see how dis-ease and illness actually occurs, and how viruses and bacteria probably cannot, and I'm not a doctor, let me just put it out there, but I'm saying from what my guides have shown me that viruses, bacteria, external pathogens likely cannot get into into a body whose Taurus energy field is fully intact. And you certainly won't have autoimmune issues with a Taurus energy field that is intact, because in order for every single cell to be doing what it is divinely designed for you to do, its Taurus energy field must be intact. So you see how everything is about us being energetically in alignment, and they've made it about everything but in order to fuck with us, so that we get sick, so that we do die, so that we do have death energies that come in and destroy the things that bring us joy, because your joy is connected to your solar energy. So this is how, this is the vertical. But without the vertical, without the Taurus and the Leo energies being in alignment, right, of the fixed cross, you cannot put into alignment your Scorpio and your Aquarius energy, because remember, the Taurus and Leo energies are about self and the divine. And the Scorpio and Aquarius energies, because they are in the houses, they're in the 8th and the 11th house. Your 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th house deal with how you then take your energy into the world. Okay, so if you are not in alignment with your truth and with who you are divinely, you cannot go out into the world and give the world anything but what it is you have. So in other words, if they can mess with that energy, it's easy to mess with this energy. It's easy to intercept. If you can mess with someone's personal wealth, you can mess with the picture, the overall picture of what collective wealth is. And this is what they did. Okay? So the Scorpio energy is the key to how you unlock the access to your solar energy and to your Taurus energy in order to reclaim the full possession of your Taurus field and therefore your own light body. Because your Taurus energy, of course, is connected to your ability to utilize and have full access to your light body without other people and beings doing that, okay? The reason why the Scorpio energy is how you reclaim the possession is because the Scorpio energy is connected to your sacral chakra. So this is when you begin to birth who you are divinely horizontally. So you begin to birth who you are on the vertical planes of the cross. Who you are divinely is birthed horizontally, is birthed to the world through your Scorpio energy, which is connected to your sacral. So it's the birthing of your wealth into the earth planes. It is, and the Scorpio energy is connected to sacral and womb energy. It's also why at every turn they have connected themselves to our sacred energy by way of religion and what they've taught us is moral and right, and how it is the rules of the matrix and how it is you're supposed to live, which are so counterproductive to actually being a functioning living being, because anytime you try to defect from that, you were programmed into guilt, and a guilty person cannot go out into the world and take their divine treasure into the horizontal planes. It's not possible. So this is also another checkpoint. So these are I say all of this because this week, this is what they were showing me. These were the energies, the three main energies that have been being under attack big time as we move towards a new moon in Aries, but it's bigger than that. It's as we move through the final degrees of the North Node being in Taurus and the South Node being in Scorpio, it's like we are being given the opportunity to become the cross. But in order to become the cross, we must sacrifice our matrix reality, because the matrix system is all about sacrifice. And in order to get out of it, you must sacrifice something too. And what you must sacrifice is the false self that was created by others and put onto you. Okay, it's also why they have when they do their secret society rituals and everything, they always have this ritual where they pretend to die and come back to life and all this other shit. That's really what it's about. In order to be born again into the truth of who you are, and this is what the Bible is talking about also, to be born again, to be born first of body, right? But then in order to be born again, you must be born in spirit and truth. And the only way you can be born again in spirit and in truth is in reconnecting to spirit and truth, so that now you can be a divine being living on earth as you already are in the heavens. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that cosmologic, and this is why they did what they did. This is why they knocked down your vertical access points. They mess with everything, but especially the vertical access point, is because you are a bridge. You are here to bring heaven into earth. That was always, as a divine being, part of the plan. And if they can intercept that, then they can create fuckery on earth that has a reflection, it has a mirror reflection of what is going on spiritually, but it's not the heavenly truth. Okay, so the truth of the matter is that a lot of you are ancient divine beings who are guardians of this planet, or you have very high ranking, and you're very important in the cosmos, right? And if they can get you to forget that and then cut you off from actualizing that by becoming the bridge again, then they can keep fucking around with your energy field to program you. But once you begin to make that link again to the divine, and you reconnect yourself vertically, and you take back your energy, and your Taurus energy field starts to function properly again, and you recover your own light, and you grow that light, and you learn how to use your energy, and you learn who you truly are, your I am identity, then once you do that, they can no longer they can no longer perpetuate the false narrative that they tried to place upon you, that you succumbed to and therefore sacrificed your divinity. So now what you're doing is you're sacrificing the lie in order to live in your truth. And indeed, this is what you've been doing the whole time. But there comes a point on the journey that in order to recover the entirety of your Taurus field, you've got to put it all on the line, right? And I don't know, like maybe we'll have to keep on going to the fixed cross to refine ourselves and to become more what's the word I'm looking for? Like more in tune and more aware of how to use all of our divine instruments. Maybe we're going to have to keep on going to the cross and sacrificing the older versions of ourselves that didn't know until every part of who we were, in the matrix is gone. Maybe that's what it is, possibly. But I know that right now, with the North Node in Taurus and the South Node in Scorpio, we are at this major juncture, and also because of the nature of ascension and the turning of the ages and all that other stuff, we are at a major junction or conjunction when it comes to now taking the matrix version of ourselves and bringing it to the cross. We're bringing it to the cross. And the reason this energy is also so profound is also because we are in the Age of Aquarius. And this Aquarian energy is very much about having recovered the vertical truth, having recovered your divine truth and your reality and your value, and then taking it out horizontally, first by birthing it through the Scorpio energy. And also the Scorpio energy is responsible for getting the resources that it's like cashing in your tokens, almost like your Taurus and Leo energy are like all of your tokens, and the Scorpio energy is kind of how you cash it in. And now you have the resources you need to go out there and to be helpful in the world and to do what you came here to do. It's your humanitarianism of the Aquarian energy and the 11th house. And humanitarianism is serving humanity with your divine gifts. And this is what the Age of Aquarius ultimately is about us returning to. And I often say, like, there are many of these people here who think they're spiritual and they're running around, you know, saying stuff, and they have this spiritual persona on, and it's just like they're so stuck in the programming of the matrix that have told them certain things are right and wrong, and they've applied that to their spiritual path, and they don't realize that in doing that they haven't ascended because they haven't fully recovered their humanity. They're trying to jump to becoming divine without first dealing with their humanity. And we all do that to some extent. Like, even those of us who have been through so much trauma that in the beginning it's easier to live in the ethers than it is to face real life. And there comes a time where we have to ground all of that energy, because otherwise we are not living in alignment. We're not living in our divine truth. We are trying to access the divine without going through the bridge of our humanity. And if we came here on earth, then we came here to learn how to be humans who walk divinely. We already are divine. It's not something we're striving to become like they tried to tell us. You came in here divine. That was up to you to remember that by way of learning how to be humane in a world and a society that taught you that in order to get ahead, you had to be the opposite. So religion and fake spirituality, it's all traps. It's all traps to keep your Taurus field out of your full possession and to keep you from accessing your treasure. You know, religion and false spirituality are there to redirect your sacral energies. But first and foremost, it's there to mess with all of those energies. But ultimately, even if you get to the point where you began to know who you are and to heal yourself, the main issue would then become birthing that into reality. That's what we've all been dealing with right now. We've been healing, we've been recognizing, and now it's just like, okay, but what's happening? Our love, our money, that's 8th house stuff, that's Scorpio energy. This is where the attack has been. And now the next attack is going to move into the Aquarian energy. It is already there for many, but it's going to be the challenge of dealing with the groupthink in order to change. That's a fixed cross energy, how it is showing up collectively. But as we do the work personally, as we recover our vertical and our horizontal access, as we become the cross, as we recover our Taurus energy field, we recover our divine love and our divine wealth by way of the Scorpio energy, and we begin to give that out so it goes forth and it multiplies with other divine beings, then we are setting the tone for that to happen in the world. And this is why they didn't want us awake. And this is why in 2020 shit went down and there was, you know, separation, because there were huge activations. As many of you I know felt it in 2020, and then all of a sudden at the end of the year, you know, you felt like you could fly, and then all of a sudden you couldn't. That was kind of the energy, because the activations that were coming in at the time when we were not going anywhere or couldn't have contact with many people, the activations that were coming in could not be stopped or limited. And indeed, we're going back to that energy now. They gave it their best shot, and we still, in spite of everything, stood up and warred for ourselves and one another. And so as we continue to recover the fullness of our Taurus energy field, and we clear the wounds of the solar plexus, and therefore our heart projects the truth of who we are divinely, we're calling one another in. And as we call one another in, what we're doing is that we are multiplying that energy throughout the earth. Even if we're not physically together yet, it doesn't matter. We're growing so strong individually that the next step is inevitable. And this is exactly why the divine has had us in situations that we've been in. We had to become this strong. There was the only way we could overcome all this fuckery was by becoming this strong alone. And if we're this strong alone, just imagine how powerful you are when you come into alignment with your divine partner, or when you come into alignment with your soul tribe. And you also have, not only are you strong and powerful, but you have full access of your energy field, and you also know who you are, and how all of this, you're unstoppable at this point. You need to know you may not feel it right now, but you've got to know that you are. You absolutely are. So the Scorpio energy, like I said, is this energy of, this is how your divine reality is birthed into the world, and it's where your vertical relationship of the cross, your vertical plane, becomes a horizontal, where it goes out horizontally into the earth plane. So the only way to get to that place, and this is where we're coming up to another juncture of recognizing this, and this is why the stuff was coming up in the other reading that it was. In the Bible, Jesus, is it Jesus or Paul? I forget who it was that said this, but it was, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Be ye transformed, Jesus does say this, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, unless, oh my gosh, now I have to find the scripture because there's a part that comes after it that I just had and I lost. Give me a second, guys, and excuse my old English, but I don't know why they're bringing it through in the King James version, but we'll go with it. We'll go with it. Okay. Yes, it was in Romans, but okay, yeah. And it says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. So, the perfect will of God is not what they tell you in church and in religion, that you must do this and be this. The perfect will of God is that you be in alignment with who you are crowned as being. With who you are crowned as being. And the only way you can get back your crown is by transforming all of the fuckery, transforming yourself by the renewing of your mind. And that is taking all of the conditioning and the programming of the matrix that programmed you out and turned you into a transformer, right? Into a version of yourself that wasn't you, with the help of all of the extra karmic characters. A round of applause for the karmic characters, guys. You wouldn't be who you are without them. And that's the truth. My guides kept on saying this. I haven't shared it publicly, but I should have said it a long time ago. They said, Solara, March is Ops Appreciation Month. March is Ops Appreciation Month, guys, because what is coming for you on the other side of this month, on the other side of the Aries new moon and the Alpha Omega portal, it might not happen as soon as that occurs, but I'm telling you, energetically, you will know, you will already feel, you will sense, and one day you're going to look back at this and you're going to be like, that was the time everything shifted, everything began to change. It's going to be around this time. And so a round of applause to your ops, a round of applause to your karmics, a round of applause, deepest gratitude to them, seriously, because without those players in your life, you might not have been put in a position where you felt you had to transform your mind to come back into your divine truth, the will of God, which is for you to be who you were crowned as being, your I am identity. So give thanks, for reals, for reals. So the whole point of being able to take, to birth your divine reality by way of the Scorpio energy is that energy of transformation. It's dying again and being born again. And you do that by renewing your mind, by unprogramming and unfucking yourself so that you can come back into vertical alignment and reclaim your Taurus energy field so that you can use it efficiently horizontally. So everything is about going to the cross. That's really what it's, carrying your cross, going to the cross. But all of it is so that ultimately you become the cross. Whew, that's a lot. I'm not going to go into the other downloads I have because even getting that out was difficult. I'm going to go into our dragon deck, and then I'm going to get you some abundance angels. My apologies, I couldn't get you your abundance angel card at the end of the last reading. I was rushing, so let me get it for you now after I pull a dragon card for us. Let's see what the beautiful dragons have to say. They said also get a Angels of Light, Keepers of Light. We'll do that. But at the bottom of the dragon deck, we do have the Omega Dragon, y'all. The Omega Dragon harnesses the divine feminine power of creation, intention, hold your vision, birth the higher consciousness. This is what we're doing right now. We're birthing, as with the South Node in Scorpio and the North Node in Taurus. This is where the vertical becomes the horizontal, and we birth the energies we need in order now to come together. We've already, this axis has already kind of helped us to rebirth the truth of our divine value, to recover the truth of our divine value. And the Scorpio energy is helping us to birth that collectively too. And we're coming to the end of it, because when the nodes switch in July into Aries and Libra, it's the great balancing and justice that must occur so that you can be crowned, so you can live in alignment with God's will. What actually came out? Fours, red, black and gold dragon, protects you in times of change, a time of rapid transition and transformation. Relax, you are safe. Yeah, you are becoming the cross. And because you've gotten to this part of the journey, if you're vibing with this, I know that it's a lot. What I just unpacked is a lot, but if you're vibing with this, know that you've reached such a place on your path where you are so divinely protected. Remember, I said at the beginning, I said this was like a random, note, but it is a part of the reading too. I said that they're like shadow boxing with the divine, because they believe their fight is still with you. You're protected because they're no longer fighting you. You've been moved out of the ring, and now they're fighting directly. They're fighting directly with the one and the ones who crowned you and were there at your coronation before you entered. Like my guide showed me this the other day. Before you entered into the earth, before you agreed upon your contracts, you sat with all of your guides and all of the ones who would come to you at every turn. And you came up with agreements. You came up with all manner of clauses and things that would protect you, and when you got thus far, this would unlock for you, and yada yada yada. At every point you have been covered, and now you've reached a point on your journey, because they were here to get you to this place. You've reached such a point on this journey where it's like your soul can now rest. You've been taken out of the battlefield. Yeah, you still have to deal with your earthly experiences as all of this is cleaned up. But know that now their fight is no longer with you. You're no longer you're no longer keeping them back from the wrath of the divine. For a while you were there. You were there, kind of blocking them, keeping out justice, keeping out, keeping them from having to battle with forces that are bigger. You were doing that because you were taking it on yourself. And you had to, in order to become those forces that are bigger, because you are those things, but you had to become them in real time. And so now you're being moved out the way because their fight is not with you, it's with the divine. And as such, your protection right now, there's a lot of, like I said today in this video, there's a lot of death energy that they want to send right now. There's a lot of amping up of the fuckery. I sense it. I don't feel it as much as I sense it, and it wants to take me sometimes into the mental space of believing that it's real, but it's not. It's only real if I open the window and let it through again by believing it. But it's not. They're not fighting with me anymore. They're not fighting with me anymore. Right now they're fighting with my mother and my father God, many of them. Right at their throne, right at the footstool of mother and father God right now, because that's where I put them. That's where I put them too. I took them to the throne of God and I said, here, time for some karmic justice, because now I know who I am and I know what you've done, and I'm done playing these games. So here, I ain't going to battle you no more. I'm just going to leave you right here with my mother and my father God, and I'll be seeing you. Let's see. The Shekinah, the Shekinah, the Shekinah glory. Whew. Unleash your spirit, express your gifts, dance to the sacred rhythm of life. And look at this. Look, the dove is right in front of what? Her Taurus energy, peace. And then you have the Merkaba, which of course is part of your Taurus energy field, peace. You're safe to be yourself. You're safe to be who you are divinely. You're safe to speak your truth, to live your truth. You are protected. You are protected. It's time to come out of your shell and be who you are crowned as being, without the fear of retaliation, without the fear of being shut down, without the fear of being attached to. You know, it's time, all of that has to come to an end now, and it's coming, especially with this, as we move through these energies and get towards the new moon and the sun in Aries next week. Right now we are still in hermit mode because we are coming off of that full moon in Virgo, and we are in the last days of the year, and we are here to reflect and to have conversations with God and to find out, okay, I know who I am, I'm receiving my crown, what are my divine instructions now? So it's time for us to upload all of that so that we can move forward and really close out this cycle with the Omega Dragon, right? Something that was really interesting was before I began this, they told me to pull up the present astrology. And so the present astrology, this was at, well, maybe an hour ago or something. But I want to keep it because I was picking up points from here. So when I pulled up the planets about an hour ago, the sun was at 25 degrees Pisces. Mercury is at 25 degrees Pisces. Neptune is at 25 degrees Pisces. So that 25 degree mark is Taurus energy. I'm pretty sure. Let me think about that. So Taurus degree. Give me just 1 second. So we got Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries. Oh no, it's Aries energy. I'm glad I checked that. The 25 degrees Aries, okay, yeah, that makes sense because it's the 7th. It's divine energy. It's the energy of oneness because Saturn is also at 1 degree, which is also Aries energy. So we've got all of these planets in Pisces, all of them at divine numbers, divine energies, because whether we know it's Aries energy or not, that oneness is the energy of divine. That 25, when you break it down to 7, it's 777. That is the energy of divine intervention. But then when you bring in the fact that they're all degrees of Aries, you are being prepared to be crowned. You are being the sun. And not only that, but the moon also was in Capricorn at 18 degrees. I think 18 degrees is Libra. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo. 18 degrees is a Libra degree. So that's all about bringing the balance and the justice. But I say all of that because since the moon entered Capricorn, you know, about a day ago, there has been a lot of focus on like being shown more details about contracts and what certain individuals are doing in the context of those contracts having already been closed out. Now, Pisces energy is always going to deal with the 12th house, karmic energies, showing you things that you don't normally want to see. Pisces energy gives you the ability to go into the dark and to see the things that are happening beneath the 3D reality. It helps you to see that. It helps you connect with your dreams. It helps you to connect with, the messages that want to come to you divinely. And as such, there's been exposure with the sun in Pisces and the moon in Capricorn of some of the fuckery that these people who have been trying to hold you and keep you in devil energy or keep you stuck in the old contracts are doing, or like more exposure around what they've been doing all along, or more details coming forth. And the reason that the more details are coming forth is, like I said in the reading earlier on today, it's because we must, in order to come into the fullness of our truth, of our power, we must come into the fullness of the truth of who the people, factions, energies, corporations were that did everything they could to disempower us to the point where we believed that false narrative. We must know who they were in order to know who we are. We must take their crowns off, or anything that we've still adorned them in that doesn't belong to them, and take it back for ourselves. So it's interesting with that 18-degree mark. We have that 777. Again, I'm not going to go too deep into it. The nodes are, its north node is at 6 degrees. 6 degrees Taurus, 6 degrees Scorpio. So again, another energy of balancing, re-entering the garden. This is what's happening right now. It's also why we're being shown more and more this energy of them waging war against divine unions, because once we get to that 0 degree point of Taurus energy, for many of them, it already is a wrap, but what they've been trying to do to your energy field, your Taurus energy, cannot be done anymore. We pass the point of return, and maybe that's when the fullness of your light will come back on, and there will be no more fucking around. You'll be impenetrable for as long as you continue on your divine path. Because right now, when I look at the planetary chart, it's all Pisces and Aries energy. Aries energy literally too. Venus in energy. Venus in Aries. Jupiter in Aries. Chiron still is in Aries. Uranus in Taurus. You know? Mars is in Gemini. That's like the only defector right now is Mars. But we need that too. Of course, we need Mars and Gemini. I won't break that down right now. But again, that Gemini energy is attached to the garden, the lovers. It's how you get back in. All of those Geminis over your third house, the third house energy, are the ones who then either activate you into the fullness of your values so that you can go into the garden, or they deactivate you out of your values so you stay imprisoned in lower timelines and stuck out of your Garden of Eden. You're regaining access from all of them. And they do that through the mind, through mind control and mind games. And Mars in Gemini, it's beautiful. It's going back through all of this, because Mars, when it was retrograding through Gemini. I believe. So it's still going forward. I don't know how long Mars has been in Gemini at this point, but it's in the third decan. So it's in the 10 of Swords energy. This shit is over. It's over. Let me stop, because otherwise I'll be here all night looking at all of the degrees and breaking it all down for you guys. We don't have time for we don't have time for that right now. So, yes. What actually came out was Melchizedek, higher learning. You have learned from experience. More inner study is now required to further progress. And yes, again, I'm really getting that this is the energy of divesting yourself of everything that these energies try to tell you that you are. And the only way to do that is, like, again, the inner study is the hermit energy. It's the conversations in the dark. I said it at the beginning. I said it on Tuesday when I posted that reading, and I said it in the community board post I placed over the weekend. This is the time and the season where we're receiving our divine instructions for moving forward, but we're also receiving our divine, not only instructions, but we're receiving the downloads of who we really are. You know, that I am energy, who you are crowned as being. Right now, the divine wants to tell you This is the inner learning, the inner study that is required now, so that when the sun and the moon move into Aries and when the node move into Aries, you've recovered your crown completely and your Taurus energy field is once again yours, because you were always, remember I said in the reading, if you didn't listen to that reading yet, that's fine, but in that reading I told you, you do not attract wealth, you do not attract abundance, you are wealth, you are abundance. It comes to you because that's who you are. You don't have to attract it and call it into you. When you are in the fullness of of who you are, it naturally comes after you because it's coming home. It's like, oh, mom, kind of thing. It comes to you. You are wealth. You are abundance. This is why these people don't want to let you go, because they've been cloaking themselves in you and manifesting and attracting through your energy. Because they forfeited theirs across lifetimes. Okay, abundance angels. It's like, I know I've got to do something else. I've got to do abundance angels. And then I'll let you guys go. 2 times in one day I'm on here. For some of you, you're just like, oh, that's wonderful. For others, it's just like, she's too much. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully not. With your tribe, you're never too much, are you? I've been told that my whole life. And I really used to think there was something wrong with me, and now I don't give a fuck. I'm only too much if you're too little. And that's the truth. And not too little like because I've said that you're too little. I'm too much because I threaten all of the areas where you refuse to rise and be the wholeness of who you are, because you prefer to be little and you want to make me little too. And, you know, fuck a bunch of that. I'm not being little for anyone anymore. I'm tired of being little. I'm tired of being pushed in a corner. I'm tired of being told I'm too anything. You should be too. If you're going to be too anything, be too wonderful. But you're not too much. You're just enough. Like Baby Bear, you're just enough. You're just right. And with the right people, you'll always be just right. And when you're no longer in alignment with that lesson, then it's time to find the people who you're just right with again. And so we continue to evolve, and it's beautiful. Don't stay in the company of people who tell you you're too anything. Okay, focus on your priorities, the abundance angel said. Where you put your focus is where you receive your outcome. Your priorities are calling to you, which may produce a feeling of anxiety unless you give them the time and attention they and you deserve. Even a small amount of time devoted to your priorities will help you feel better and more confident. So some of you, I feel like there's fear surrounding your bigness. You are afraid of your own greatness. This is the energy that's coming through, which is very common when you've been told you're too anything. And you haven't been given the full opportunity to excel on your own terms. But your guides are wanting you to know that it's okay to believe in the fullness and the bigness of who you are. In fact, the more you believe in the bigness of who you are right now and the truth of who you are, the better, the faster you move into divine alignment, the faster your vertical plane of your cross becomes horizontal, and everything you need to go out into the world and to be you comes out. Don't think small. It's not a time to think small. Everything in the Matrix wanted you to think small, because then they could dim your light and dampen your resolve and keep you out of the truth of your multidimensional, multifaceted wonderfulness. It's not time to quieten that down or to dilute it or to pretend like you're... Didn't you do that too? I used to do that a lot. I used to pretend like I wasn't as smart as I was in order not to like intimidate other people. If you're smart and you like to use words, use them. Maybe you're mercurial. Maybe you're from a planet where you never had got to do that before. Maybe you're from a planet where they do love words. Maybe, you never know the reason why people are the way they are, but it doesn't fucking matter. If that's who you are, be who you are. Be big. Be big. Your Taurus energy field is here to help you, for you to expand and be you, and you access it again by being big. Be big, and the people who can't stand your bigness can go fuck themselves. It's like, enough of this shit. Enough of watering yourself down, dumbing yourself down, making yourself seem to be less than, having to pretend to be self-deprecating in order to make the ones who are insecure feel better. Fuck a bunch of that. okay? Focus on your priorities. That's right. Focus on not only your priorities, but focus on who you are. Focusing on who you are should be your priority right now. The game plan for how you put that out there will come as you recover the confidence of knowing who you are. No more complaining. Complaints are affirmations of victimhood. They are, kind of, which is never true spiritually, and that is absolutely true. So when we complain, what we're consenting to our smallness. We're consenting to being small, because if you are truly, and I believe you are if you're still here with me, if you are truly a multidimensional, infinite being, then there's no problem that cannot be solved by you. There's no trap that they can get you in that you can't break out of. There's nothing you can't do, right? So when you complain about it, that's a lack of faith. That's a lack of believing that, right? And that's not to say that you're not also a human being living like within finite experiences and conditions. We've got to take that into account too. So the point is, you're multidimensional, so you have that human aspect of self. But when you find yourself falling into the victimhood, you have that ability to pull yourself out, because that's nowhere where you want to stay, right? It's not to condemn you for falling to that place. We all do. We all do complain. We all go through that. That's part of the human experience. Just don't stay there, because then you begin to create a reality from that place, and you're not here to do that. No mo. Take back your God-given power by affirming that you have an abundance of choices and freedom, because you are abundance, okay? With your increased confidence and assertiveness, watch these positive affirmations blossom into reality. Absolutely. And those of you who feel like you need like a shot or a boost of confidence, it's coming. This energy, this Aries energy, man, start to tune. I love me some Aries energy. Start to tune into that Aries energy, the higher, not the higher, the balanced approach to Aries energy. Because an Aries who is in balance and is in their evolved energy, you can't tell them that they can't do something. You can't tell them that they can't be something, do something. You know, they are stubborn. They're hard-headed about the right things, you know. So that energy is coming. It's about to be available for all of us as we move into this new cycle. So if you're feeling a little bit blah, a little bit tired, blame that, you know, on the Piscean energy wrapping up, and know that there's new energy coming through. And take the opportunity also now to rest and to prepare yourself for that cycle, and to focus on who you are. Your priority right now is connecting with who you are, so that when the I am energy of Aries, that crowning energy comes in, you're ready to snatch your crown and be like, oh yeah, I am that I am. And I've been spending the last few days of Pisces season connecting with that truth, remembering who I am, so that when it comes towards me, when it's time for me to walk through that energetic door or portal, that Alpha and Omega portal, I know where the fuck I'm going. Okay, it's been real. It's been real. I love you guys. I love you. I love you. I love you. I hope that these downloads were clear. I know it's dense material, but I hope that I articulated it in a way that you can glean all the information you need. And I hope that the cards and the reading was helpful. Yeah, that's really all I have for you. If you would like to donate to the channel, or you would like to purchase one of these decks for the channel, you can do so. The links are in the description box below. If you would like to work with me or know more about who I am and the ways I serve the collective, you can always check me out on my website. That is also in the description box below this reading, Solarah with an H.info. That's my website. If you would like to book with me after you've checked my services on my website and what I offer, you can go directly through my contact page, or you can email me separately, you know, however you feel like it. My email address is in the description box below too, but you can go directly through the contact page, because that is directly linked to my email also. And you can let me know at that point what you would like to book with me, because I do not have a checkout function on my website, because I like to know who's coming towards me, who I'm working with. The only service I have on my website that has a checkout function straight away is for my Daily Alchemy members portal, where 5 times a week I do channeled writing, channeled messages for the energies that we're dealing with. So it's for those of you who want more regular, updates, regular guidance, regular, assurance. That's the Daily Alchemy members portal. And then I also, in the portal, part of the membership is I do weekly extras. So sometimes it will be a report on the full moon energies, new moon energies. Sometimes it's an activation. It just kind of depends on where the divine leads me. But those are the reports and everything that I then release to you guys at a suggested donation. So it's already included in the Daily Alchemy members portal. So that's 5 pieces of writing a week and about 4 extra things monthly. And I go deep in my reports, just like in my readings. I'm highly mercurial. I like to go deep. And I got a lot of Scorpio energy too. I like to go deep. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to love you and leave you. I send you guys so much love, so much peace, so much joy, so much beauty, abundance, everything that is going to add to your light and to your power and to the way you experience beauty at this time in your life. May it be yours. Ashe, ashe, ashe. I will see you guys again soon. Be well.